That's it. That's it, right? No! Heal, right? And I'm like, yo, what are the odds of a second heal? That's why we use Gloria. That's why we use the crit. Nope. 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 Hey, yo, how's it going, everyone? Entropy here today with another video. Today we're going to be doing a deck profile on AquaForce with their newest support with set 16 Divas Duet. They have some new stuff to play around with. They have a new starter for the Maelstrom name. They have some Blue Storm support. They have a Break Ride, and of course, Maelstrom Reverse. So I guess without further ado, let's get started and talk about it and see how this deck goes. So first of all, I think it is important to preface that this is day 3. I have spent a lot of time playing around with it. I have 4 different lists that I've been spending the last 3 days playing around with. So, you know, I don't really feel that it's a really like super good deck at the moment. I know some people think of it really highly or think of it as like, you know, decent, at least mediocre. I think it is mediocre. I don't think it's like amazing though. But maybe this will change as time passes. So be sure to check out the live streams because I definitely do change up my list from time to time depending on how I feel about the deck. Maybe I make a few changes here and there down the line and it feels better. But we'll talk about it. For now, I think it is important to just mention some references. So I got Prestige, which is also another common top ranker. Give me some tips on our Discord. I also referenced the Vanguard 0 JP Championship 2020 Finals list. So there was one AquaForce player. Sorry, I forgot the name, but I will put the deck list in the description down below. But this is the list. I think that no, not this list. This is the list that the JP player brought. I think this is a very interesting list, and I actually started off this first net decking. We played 3 Maelstrom reverses only. We're playing 4 Algos, which I wasn't a very big fan of actually. And also I think the most interesting one is Swimming Drill Sea Soldier, right? So the logic behind this list, just really briefly, is that you have, you know, Tidal Assaults. You want the extra 2k to actually swing 11, and a booster you can actually swing twice, maybe. Penguin is there to help you draw. Tidal Assaults, Algos, not Tidal Assaults. Algos is there to actually help you draw. Now traditionally, I'm like, why would you commit so many resources for, you know, on hit +1? And also, you know, don't you want your Maelstroms to be your 4th attack unit? Like, it's hard to get 5th attack in. It's possible because you have like real assaults and stuff, but it's hard to get that number in. But Algos, you know, first thing is that the counterblast 1+5 can actually help you reach those numbers. Second thing is that because of your new starter, Mario's, you kind of want to be getting that 3rd battle on your turn 2 turn, right? Traditionally on AquaForce, maybe you want to save and conserve your resources and then start doing your fourth battle kind of shenanigans, starting turn 3 when you're already on your Maelstrom. Well, Mario's basically incentivizes you to don't mulligan any triggers in your hand, just get rid of all the Maelstroms, even if they're valid, like the OG Maelstrom, just toss it, get your 3rd attacks in, have a board, you know, get your +1 Maelstrom that doesn't reduce your trigger count, so it's kind of like a better Eric, I guess. And you also have a board you can pressure your opponent can choose, well, A, they can attack your board, right, which could be just some flimsy random stuff. Right, maybe it's a patrol seal soldier that just needed to swing to hit your 3rd attack or 4th attack conditions, or they can still go face and they'll give you damage for LB, and you have full board to actually take advantage of it next turn. So Algos gives your opponent a situation where, you know, on your turn, yes, you whiff, but you still get to +1 by drawing that extra card. If they remove that card, you essentially just traded 1 unit for 1 unit because you drew an additional 1. You have that extra 5k to actually hit over numbers on your turn 2 turn, or maybe in the future as well, help you draw 1. And if your opponent still gives you damage, then you can immediately transition to your Maelstrom or Maelstrom reverses and just go for 4th attack or more, and then go for the win. You still play your self-damagers, which I think is definitely necessary. I think a lot of, like most AquaForce lists, you're at least going to be seeing 4 self-damagers, no matter what variant you're playing, like Glory, Trans Glory, or whatever. You know, I think the self-damagers are pretty self-explanatory because your limit break skills are just quite big. I guess if you're playing like Tetra, maybe you're not playing the self-damagers, but yeah. So this is the list I was primarily inspired with. Prestige gave me some different lists. For example, this list played more beaters. So I changed this out, but this is basically a 7+3. You're playing more 10k bodies. Instead of playing another 2 or 3 10k, I'm playing like 9+3s to actually hit more numbers and stuff like that. The rest is pretty similar, but this is the list I ended up with. I feel the most comfortable with. This is basically the JP players list, except instead of the little penguin thing, I'm playing accelerated command. Now, accelerated command is an on place +2. The other one is a sorry, not a penguin, it's a seal. This one is a rest, choose 1 unit +2. Now, the reason why I kind of get why this player wants to play the seal soldier is because you can reuse the +2, right? You can help your Bezos hit 13k, for example, for multiple turns. Once you rest it, you can then use Maelstrom, reverse lock it, and it's fine, right? It's fine. The problem is, I personally found that Maelstrom reverses lock target is generally going to be the starter, which is generally going to be behind your Vanguard. And when you rest it, on that turn, you can't use it to swing or boost, right? I think that's the most important thing. And also, we're also seeing a lot of retire-based clans just jumping around, and they have a lot of counter-charging skills, actually, like Kagero, Golds. And so, for me, I want to take that extra body, 6k, just plop it on the board. At least I get the +2, which is the intention. And also, I get the 6k body to actually just swing, even if it's a whiff, to actually fulfill your conditions, right? I don't need to commit another unit in order to actually get that 3rd attack or 4th attack in. So that's my reasoning. Everything else is basically the same. Definitely still want your Diamantes. But yeah, that's basically it. Tidal Assault, you don't really need to rely on it. It just helps you hit those 3rd attack or 4th attack conditions without committing as much onto the board. But let me know down below if you have any questions. But I guess without further ado, let's get into some footage and see how this deck performs on the ladder. So here is the first game. This was this afternoon, actually, so I'm recording this afterwards. Just this is more convenient and also helps me get more quality fights in, and I try to find better examples. So yeah, first game against Dimension Police. So this deck was a, of course, Dimension Police is also supported in the new set with Diva's Duet. You have Great Dai Kaiser, more consistency getting into Dai Kaiser itself in the first place. So yeah, generally speaking, because of your starter Marios, just a on boost 3rd hit, on hit 3rd attack or more, check top 5 for a Maelstrom, add a copy to your hand, shuffle. Because of that, you don't really need to mulligan and keep a grade 3. And against Dimension Police, obviously you want to be keeping your PGs. Like maybe most matchups I want to keep at most 1, because AquaForce really does need the bodies to start with, and actually get advantage running. Against DP, you definitely want 2 PGs to be safe rather than Story, because the Break Ride is the most prevalent build right now, and you definitely need 2 PGs to protect yourself against that big Break Ride turn. So we're just gonna call it ride the 6k. The Wheel Assault is quite valuable. It actually lets you enable 5th attacks. Of course, it's quite niche, and in this build, it is less practical because, generally speaking, in order to get that 5th attack in, you are going to be putting a beater behind your Vanguard and then switching that out. And in this case, you do want to keep your Marios behind your Vanguard because that's generally your at least 3rd attack or 4th attack target. So yeah, it's a bit niche, but it still enables your 4th attacks consistently enough that I think is important. 5th attack maybe not often, but 4th attack definitely. Here we can choose Algos or Basil. Definitely go for Algos as the ride, and it's important to note that we do have 8k grade 2s. So when you're going second, you're actually at a very disadvantaged state because your Vanguard column is going to be 13k sometimes, and your opponent's generally going to be 9k or 10k, right? So unless your opponent's like 8k as well, which is really rare in other clans, honestly, it is hard to proc your 3rd attack condition unless you purposely whiff. And personally, I'd rather whiff and get the pluses than deal that extra damage most of the time. Of course, it depends on the situation, but yeah. So here we're gonna proc Algos first to draw. simply because Mario's checks off 5 for any Maelstrom, and by drawing 1, you're, I guess, are you really increasing the odds of hitting a Maelstrom? I guess not really, but I guess it was just sequentially I activated algos. If there is actually a difference, let me know. I don't know why intuitively I just used the algos first actually. But yeah, so here, ideally your first grade 3 target is Maelstrom actually, and then you can go into Maelstrom Reverse or Glory Maelstrom for the crit to finish up in games. I think that works the best for me. But of course, don't hesitate to go straight into Maelstrom Reverse as well, because it does have basically similar skill. The difference is that Maelstrom Reverse does require lock 1, so you need your pieces more consistently. You need your pieces together more so than Maelstrom. Maelstrom just needs like a Basil or a Diamantes or a Wheel Assault, but the Maelstrom Reverse does need more specific units to commit on the board in order to use it more effectively. But yeah, like Maelstrom gives both Maelstrom Reverse and Glory Maelstrom the 13k body, which is actually really valuable in this meta. So here, I'm deciding which one I should ride, which really shouldn't be a big question. I guess I was thinking maybe I should go straight to Glory, simply because I don't have a 4th. I'm not at 4 yet. I don't have a self damager. An opponent's probably gonna break ride and then be at 2 crit to push us at 5. So Glory is gonna be active next turn anyways. But here I guess I'm prioritizing just dealing damage and filling up the board because I don't actually have a lot of bodies. And if I do go straight to Maelstrom, Glory Maelstrom, maybe the extra 5k and a crit and the guard restrict, maybe that's not as worth it as the potential plus and retire that normal Maelstrom can provide me later down the line. So here we're just gonna hit. We're just gonna get Maelstrom Reverse. So we're already on Maelstrom, so there's no reason to get another copy. So just get Maelstrom Reverse. Generally speaking, with the Marios, actually, I think it's important to know that your opponent, it's important to know what to pick, right? Like a lot of the times I actually pick up Glory, because Glory is just a better finisher, you have your guard restrict. The good thing about Maelstrom Reverse is that it doesn't require counter blast, right? So that's the good part. When you're thinking about your endgame plays, if you used a lot of counter blast earlier for your Diamantes or Basils or Wheel Assaults, and you do want that crit, then maybe transitioning into the Maelstrom Reverse is better than Glory. Of course, you'll be missing out on the guard restrict, but you win some, you lose some, right? So here, Great Guy Kaiser going to be triple driving, and they have an on-hit Laurel. It's pretty crazy. I think self-damagers, draw trigger. And with the new Die Kaiser buff, it means that, even when they restand, they can actually reuse the guard break ability from the break ride. Before it was just once per turn, so Laurel was really even worse synergy. But now it's I guess it's better. How much better, I won't say, but it's definitely better. One other thing about this deck is you do need to be more. So here, if our opponent, drive checks a grade 3, then we have to waste 2 PGs. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Let's see. Okay. Look at that hand. Crazy. Alright, so here, I guess we can just go into Maelstrom Reverse. Another good thing is that it's 13k body, right? So against the 13k body Vanguard, the 13k body obviously plays a huge role. The question is, do we even use the Maelstrom Reverse skill? Like, we can just swing and then call for a game? Or, maybe the crit, depending on your opponent's PG count and heal trigger count, maybe the crit is just safer. If your opponent has spent 3 PGs or 4 PGs but haven't seen heals yet, then maybe the crit is more bad. So here it's a misplay. Don't misplay like me. Swing with the Basil first, and then swing with the AK, so you get 19 and then you get the crit. That is the better play. So I obviously misplayed, I was careless, but I hope you don't do the same. For the next game, right after this game actually, we got a VP farmer, so I'm just gonna casually skip that. And then we actually have a friend of us, friend of ours, SF6's Nitro. So go check out his Twitch. I put the link in the description box down below, so check him out. His content as well, and SF6 is a very nice welcoming group, so check him out. So here, again, you know, no grade 3s, that's absolutely fine. Like, we want bodies to actually proc the Marios, and that way we can get a grade 3 without reducing the amount of triggers in our deck. So that's I guess that's another good thing. You just get bodies. Yes, they are grade 3s, so if you call them out, you don't have intercepts on them, and it's a bit risky, but this deck functions really high risk, high reward. You know, you need to be confident with your plays, you need to be willing to put up those grade 3 11Ks to just swing by itself, and, you know, in that case, maybe sometimes mulliganing for PG or 2 is, at least 1 PG is good. Here we're just gonna casually draw into two heal triggers, because that's just how RNG works sometimes, so can't want to complain, but can't complain really. So here, would you rather ride the self-damager or the Basil? I personally would ride the self-damager. Reason being, the Basils, you know, they're nice, and if your opponent doesn't have any intercepts, well, they're 11k body first swing to the Vanguard's face, right? Well, even if they do have intercepts, you can just counterblast and still be an 11k swing to the face by itself. Which is nice. The self-damager can't really give you that. And also, we're already at 2. We don't have an LB unit yet. So the self-damage skill is not that valuable at the moment. We're just going to swing to rearguard. So this way, if we hit the trigger, then we get the third attack, and Mario's can now bust search a grade 3 Maelstrom, but we don't get one, which sucks because I want to hit the draw trigger. One goes for Luster Revenger. Maybe this was for the better that we missed, because if they didn't miss, they would have gotten the retire off the back row Basil. Perhaps, I don't know if that's the play, but personally I'd still go for Tardu, but you know, the Basils are a pain in the ass. You're just gonna swing. Nitro has upper hand on the board. You know, just Shadows are just really good at just building up the board. Paladins in general. We're gonna sack a heal here, and then we're 18, so they can't swing. But here we're drawing our third Diamantes, so that's 4 heal triggers here. Is riding the Diamantes the right play? Honestly, I think the Twin Drive is value, and especially since our Vanguard's 8k. Remember just now we just mentioned how having 8 AK grade 2s is really miserable, because now you really have to adjust and whiff your second attack many times in order to just proc Marios. But here we are. I've impatiently skipped it, and luckily we did get the top 5 search for our Maelstrom. We're still at 2 because we got that lucky heal, and we do have the body. Opponent goes for the ideal right target Mordred. And yeah, I think at this point, you know, you have 4 grade 3s and 1 PG, and you're like, how do we come back from this garbage of a game, right? Not only did you draw poorly, but you misplayed hard as well. Like, well, what are we doing even? And the main is just solid 12k, and then we have to hit through it, so then they can just replace it with a Blaster Revenger down the line. But yeah, what are they gonna do? Just gonna swing. That's fine. Self-damager, and then they're just gonna put us to 4, which is, you know, which means that the Maelstrom is actually active, which is good for us, I guess. At least we can LB. Yay for us, yay for us. All right, just gonna put us to 4. PG. We don't want to see those. Oh, PG in our hand. We like to see those. So Maelstrom reverse, Maelstrom. And we're just gonna, toss all the Diamantes out, because why not at this point, right? This way we can fulfill our 4th attack and have a board to actually hit stuff. But you'll see, like, even if you don't brick, like the Marios will compensate you with grade 3s for flooding your board early. You have to be willing to play risky in order to actually enjoy this deck, because you'll see there's no intercepts at all, right? And it's not going to be Diamantes most of the time. These are going to be Maelstroms on the board, but these are still not intercepts. So here we're just going to hit, put them to 4. We're going to get the Glory. Even though we already have Glory, I think Glory is just a better pick. And you're just going to get retire that Dorite. So this way, when your opponent, if Nitro Break Rides, well, at least don't get the immediate countercharge one when they Superior Call Buster Dark. Right, the Sheep is already pretty useless. Primarily, you use it turn 2 or 3 to search for your Mordred's or your Raging. But if you already have that, then it's just going to sit there idly by, and it's not a Revenger name, so it clogs the board a bit. So it's not very comfortable to have, actually, sometimes. Tartu, just +1. Build a nice board. Trumpeter into a token, maybe. So yeah. There you go. And honestly, I think here we need to hit a trigger in order to survive. I think one of the weaknesses of Tartu into Trumpeter is that you're not building a 21k column, you're building a 20k column like this, but I guess it doesn't matter if you're just gonna get a Persona copy. I guess it doesn't matter. Mordred, Blaster Dark Revenger. Alright. So we know that. Okay. So going for lethal here, we did get that draw trigger, which is nice. Draw trigger. Because we had that draw trigger, we messed up Nitro's attack pattern. Like, ideally, they wanted to attack with the other Revenger column first to actually hit 16, and then the Vanguard swings twice at 20 plus. So that way, you know, if the second attack, well, that way we would have lost. In short, we would have lost. But here, they didn't see a trigger. They had to retire the non-Revenger. We know that they got rid of that one Persona copy. We know that they just drew 2. So, still don't know how many PGs they have, but they were not willing to call it out on top of the Creeping Dark Ghost. So I assume at least 1 or 2, right? So here, just gonna go for Glory Maelstrom. Good finisher. And kind of desperate right here. I don't think the Maelstrom reverse provides much value. We're just gonna call the Algos. Montes. But yeah, definitely, like, in what situation would I choose Maelstrom, like, rewriting Maelstrom reverse instead of Glory Maelstrom? It's when you want that crit, and you have the boards to commit to it, but you don't have the counter blast. It depends on your resources that you have. So we're going to swing first, because I believe they have 1 to 2 PGs, and then we're going to be using the Glory, because the odds of them having that other PG and then a grade 3 is less likely after we ping one out. And they don't! That's it! That's it, right? No! Heal, right? And I'm like, yo, what are the odds of a second heal? That's why we use Glory. That's why we use the crit. Nope. 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 Not your day, man. And it doesn't really matter what Mario searches for, because remember the part where we have a lot of cards, but they're all grade 3s? Well, yeah. And then we die. That's it. GG. Yeah, well. Yeah. So what can I say? I mean, at the end of the day, RNG strikes like thunder, you know. Sometimes it is what it is, but Nitro was being being a nice guy, and he threw the game because he thought that the double heal was unfair. So yeah, I guess I don't know, but thank you Nitro, I guess, for the game. And yeah, or RNG be like that sometimes. You're not gonna see a lot of nice guys like Nitro on the ladder, and they're gonna take the win. I personally would, because I've been effed by RNG multiple times, and I wouldn't mind this happening for me. Double healing is nice, but yeah, that's basically it. Of course, we played the best we could. I think, of course, besides the misplays, right? Forget about those for a second. But at the last push, we decided that we wanted to proc the PGs as much as possible, get lethal with Glory, with the extra crit. Hopefully, even if they get a first 6 damage shield, they won't get a 7th damage shield or a second 6 damage shield, but they did. And sometimes it'd be like that, right? So, I guess after all that, maybe give this deck a try. I know it's really unorthodox, it's a bit weird, but this deck or this list so far has worked the best for me. Let me know down below what works the best for you. Have you tried AquaForce? How do you feel about this all new, brand new Maelstrom? Like, do you still prefer Trans Glory? Do you still prefer the OG 8 self-damager Maelstrom? Do you prefer Tetra? Maybe, or do you prefer the Break Ride variant that maybe Correct just posted? So yeah, be sure to check out the different links and lists that I've linked around the description box and comment section maybe, and let me know if you like the video. Like it, definitely helps. If you enjoy the video and you want to see more, subscribe if you haven't already. And I guess that's it for this video. Until next time, I'll see you soon. Bye.